The stage is yours, guys. Good luck.
Oh, yes, thank you so much. I do feel like a Spice Girl that never was.
Yeah, absolutely. But what's going to happen, actually, I'll leave Olga to it, because we've got kind of two parts of the presentation. If that's all right with you guys, I just don't want to be standing here and, like, you know, trying to...
You can do a little dance.
Yeah, probably, yeah.
You know.
Okay.
I'm going to move a lot. Basically, what I'm going to talk about is helping people, which is a lovely, warm, delightful idea. And I would like to talk about how we do it, how we encourage other people, how we encourage the entire country to help each other, to help us, to help them, which is a huge, big circle, you know, of help and loveliness. Let's begin.
Teraz, moi Państwo, orkiestra Glory, Glory, Alleluja! Witamy serdecznie!
Hello, boss. Thank you so much. I want to talk now. We are a non-governmental, non-profit charity organization which aims to improve and support public health in Poland. How do we do that? We provide hospitals with top-notch equipment. How also do we do that? We run medical programs. We also run an educational program which aims to teach very, very young children, primary school children, the basics of first aid, so that they know how to help someone when they see someone in trouble. Like here, the little one helping someone else. We raise money during the grand finale, which is a national fundraising event. We are the Great Orchestra of Christmas Charity, and next year we're going to celebrate 25 years of activity, which is quite impressive. And my name is Olga Zawada. Nice to meet you all. Come on. How do we help? We know that we have wonderful doctors. We know that we have wonderful medical personnel. But very often what they lack is brilliant medical equipment, which is, to be honest, quite expensive. So that's what we decided to do. We decided to equip Polish hospitals with new, brilliant equipment, which is, to be honest, very, very expensive. And that's why we need the help of the public. At first, we focused on children's medicine. We focused on oncology, we focused on traumatology, and we also focused on prematurely born children. But then, in 2013, we have decided that it is high time to develop a program to help geriatric wards who often lacked basic equipment, such as, you know, beds, bedside cabinets, and we decided to take action to help them. Just to give you an idea, we have purchased the equipment worth 650 million zloty. And this is not official information, this is the exchange rate for today. It's over 131 million euro. We are present during two very, very public mass events. One of them is the grand finale, when we raise the money, and the other one is Woodstock Festival Poland, which is our way of saying thank you to everyone who has been involved in the fundraiser. It is a non-commercial, free festival. Everyone is welcome to come. You know, bring your children, bring your friends from abroad. Thank you. But we would like to be in touch with people because we work 365 days of the year. So you can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on Twitter to stay updated on what we do. We are not doing badly in terms of followers. We're getting there. This one actually does give me shivers because this is the Light Towards Heaven. This is a fireworks show which closes the fundraiser. And what we are very, very excited to say is that we try to make memories for the entire country. When we were announcing our results this year, which was a record, I could see tweets, people saying, "Bravo my, well done us," because people feel that they're a part of this huge, big action, and I think it's amazing. What we do is we base our activities on 3 simple pillars. A pillar of accessibility, a pillar of accountability, and a pillar of positivity. Because our idea is simple, and we would like to keep it as comprehensive as possible for everyone. So, let's start with accessibility. These lovely girls here on the picture, they're volunteers, and you can meet them everywhere in Poland during the grand finale, which is the public fundraiser. They would approach you with their collection boxes, and you can donate as much as you're able to, as much as you wish to donate. And in exchange, they're going to give you a little red heart sticker, which is our symbol of love and help. But because we work 365 days in a year, we would like to be as accessible as we are during the finale. We would like to be accessible online. And you ask, how do we do that? We have a web page, duh. Here we go, here is our web page design. And in 2014, we have noted a 420% increase in the donations done online via our website. That's quite impressive amount, not gonna lie. How did that happen? We decided to check how people visiting our website behaved. What did they find? Where did they click? What did they look at? And what we did, we checked the heat tracking device. You guys probably know about that more than I do, and more than I would ever know about it. And we discovered that actually they had some difficulty finding the donation button. Smart thinking. So we pulled it out from the depth of the website, making it easy to find. Because this is what you see when you visit our website. But what is very, very, very important for us, and for me personally as well, is we don't treat people visiting our website as donors. They're not cash cows, you know. We don't attack them with pleas for money. Money, 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 give me money. No. Maybe they are curious about us. Maybe they would like us to answer their questions. Maybe they're activists. Maybe they're volunteers. Maybe they would like to join. So, in lovely pink color, we have donation button, dug out. Then we have Działaj z nami, which is act with us. Then we have frequently asked questions. And then we have the newsletter for people who would like to stay connected, who would like to be updated on our progress. So this is something to bear in mind. Hello, boss. Here he is, Jurek Owsiak, the person responsible for the whole shebang. Basically, this is what you see when you go to donate button, when you press the big pink button. What we wanted to keep is the same personal interaction you would get with a volunteer collecting in the street. Here is Jurek pointing out what we do, telling you what you're donating to. So this is one thing. Another thing, which I feel is very important in our donation page, is its design. We give you a choice. There are options. You can pay 10 zloty, 50 zloty, 100 zloty, or for 500 zloty, or you can, choose your own, some 15, 25, 24, you name it. Why is it important from the point of view of a person using the website? Just to give you an idea, 10 zloty, 2 night tickets in Gdańsk, where I'm from. If you stay out till 11 p.m., you would have to pay around 9 zloty to get you and your friend back home, if you're lucky. But some people visiting the website go, I only have 10 zloty to donate. That's quite embarrassing. That's not enough. They don't need this money. It's, a small drop in the ocean. No, it's not. Every little helps, and every little counts. So that's what we are about. The next one is, I mentioned that we encourage to take action. We would like people to join us. We would like people to assess how much time, how much effort they can give us. And there are different levels of involvement you can choose from. You can volunteer, just for one day, collect money. If you have more time, you can run your own collection center. It requires a lot of work, it requires a lot of effort, it requires a lot of logistic talent. But if you have the time, go for it. If you have a company who is, socially aware, would like to help, you can also help a collection center. We can put you two in touch, you can get together. Another important thing we encourage is online activism. Everyone's on Facebook, everyone's a blogger. So we encourage people to share the message, to like, to comment, to give us some sort of online traffic, to share the message. Another popular thing, the taxman cometh. If you haven't done your taxes yet, you're in trouble. And it's a very, very popular way of supporting a charity of your choice in Poland. What you can do is you can give 1% of your tax money to a charity of your choice. Everyone has to pay taxes, and if you get to help someone in the process, that's wonderful. And how we do it is we cater for the tardy ones. We cater for the people who have left it far too late. For example, you can do your tax online. Just visiting our webpage, you wanted to find out more about 1% donations, and here we go. You can do your taxes with us and help us as well. So this is useful, this is easy, this is accessible. You don't have to go out of your way as a person visiting the website to find out how to help us. Another thing which makes, me very, very proud and also quite stressed is accountability. I can say that the majority of Polish citizens trust us. We have their trust, and with great power comes great responsibility. According to OBOP ratings, which is a national public opinion poll, the majority of Polish citizens trust us, and according to Millward Brown rankings, got lost there, we are the second strongest brand in Poland, only just after Ptasie Mleczko, which is chocolate-covered marshmallows. And you know what? You cannot really argue with a chocolate-covered marshmallow, even if you support children's health. No way. We also are leading in the ranking of the respect that people have for our brand, and we're also leading in the knowledge region because we focus on informing people what we do. We value the trust because it's one thing that people trust us and give us money. They trust us that this money is not going to be spent. This money is going to be wisely invested in the best equipment. But the other thing is that people actually back the idea that we represent. And this is something we cannot let down ever. How do we keep the trust? First of all, is a tangible effect of donation. You're in the street, middle of January, it's very cold, it's absolutely disgusting out, and you meet lovely people, volunteers, and you donate some coins, and they give you, again, the little red sticker. You can see it everywhere. If you've lived in Poland for more than 2 years, 3 years, you can see the little hearts on people's bags, backpacks, bike, helmets, you name it, we're there. And the idea behind it is simple and absolutely amazing, because the same red sticker is also on the equipment that we buy to the hospitals. So there is this sort of a direct link between your donation, your personal contribution, and something that we deliver to hospitals in Poland. That's the boss again, and his lovely wife donating the equipment. If you are curious And if you have more time, and if you would like to follow closely what exactly happens with your money, you know, it's not enough for you, oh, I got a sticker, and there's a sticker in a random hospital in Poland. No. You can go onto a website called Na co idą moje pieniądze and check exactly how we allocated the money. For example, the screenshot I've chosen shows that you have donated 9 zloty. You had a 5 zloty coin and two 2 zlotys coins. You threw them into the collection box. And you can see exactly how it has been divided between the equipment we decided to buy this time. What is also very, very important is that if you want to click through the website, you will find out more about the equipment. You will find out why was it so expensive. People don't really believe how expensive medical equipment can actually be. Why is it better? Why is it an upgrade? Why does this hospital need this stuff? It is also important to point out that we work with the top brands in the field. We work with brands which people use every day, like PayU. People use that to pay their bills. We work with Allegro, which is an auctioning platform. So it is also partners who are trustworthy. So in total, we give this full picture. And another pillar which we base our activities upon is positivity. It's my favorite one to talk about because, you know, it is so great. We share a positive message. We focus on positive aspects in our communication because we are present 2 times in a year. We are present in January. You know, Christmas are long gone. New Year's is gone. You have made some really, really awful New Year's resolutions. There is nothing to look forward to until probably May, when it gets warmer in the country. But suddenly, in this middle of a dreary season, you have a festival of color, you have a festival of light, and it doesn't happen only in Warsaw, it happens all around the country, which is amazing, because what we do is a grassroots movement. We look for people who would like to help, and we give them an opportunity, and we give them tools and environment to act together, which is amazing. This is the fireworks show we call Light Towards the Sky, Lights Towards the Heaven, during which we try to sort of communicate with the good spirits high above. We are creating brilliant memories. We are creating memories that people want to share, and we are creating memories that people want to be a part of. It's something that they leave their houses for in the middle of winter. What we also want to say is that we appreciate the help. That's why we organize the festival in the summer. This is to say a big fat thank you for everyone who has contributed their money, their time, their efforts. But we also don't forget about the online word, because after you donate online, you get this sort of a personal thank you note from Jurek. If you decided to stay home during the finale, you didn't see the fireworks, you hid inside, but you still donated, you get a thank you, as well as information about what your money is going to go towards. This brings me to another important thing, online communication being in sync with the offline world. You often use the term online word versus the offline word. We need to be in sync because, you know, we're 25 years old. We are the babies of analog world. We began when there was no internet, when there was no Facebook, no Instagram. And our activities are very, very, very much offline. Real money, real equipment, real hospitals, real sick children, unfortunately, as much as I would like to avoid that. And online, we show what we do. We inform people about our activities. It is important that we create community online and offline. When people come together preparing the finales. It is amazing to see how they create a community which has a common goal, a common idea behind it. The thing is, it is not something that is, orchestrated from above. They're not our little puppets. They decide to come together for themselves. And I feel it is absolutely amazing how we are taking a step closer to something that is a civic society, something that is a society of people who are individuals, who are responsible for each other, and who are there to help each other. And I think helping with a smile brings everyone closer together. So that would be my point. Thank you.
Do you want to do the questions in between, or do you want to do the questions in between just for Olga, or afterwards?
No, afterwards, please.
Okay.
Here you go. Thank you.
Thanks very much. Well, it's going to be hard to match that with my slides, to be honest. I mean, what the foundation is doing, within the 25 years that they've been out there, it's truly overwhelming. And first of all, welcome everybody. I'm actually amazed that there's so many of you. So everybody was playing nice last night, obviously. So that's a good thing. A lot more stress for me, to be honest. But I wanted to talk a little bit about a project that we've started off. And there was a lot of things that we didn't expect when we actually started the project itself. And I wanted to talk a little bit about, ourselves as a social group, if you like, as designers, the challenges we actually face, and that small sliver of responsibility that we all share. And that's something that I would like to talk and touch a little bit about when we're actually talking about a real, down-to-earth service design work that we're doing for one of the hospitals, like Bartosz said, in Olsztyn. And unfortunately, I'm not going to be showing any big numbers. I'm not going to be talking about tools, and how to use them, and the process and design thinking and all of that. I'm not going to be talking about that. I want to talk about us and the responsibility that we have as designers to create something better, in the world, some sort of, create the good factor out there. So this is actually the outcome of the first workshop that we had with the hospital, with top management, the director and the mid-management as well. And they want to create this fairy tale hospital. That's what their long-term goal and long-term vision for the actual event is. And that's, as you can see, probably at the very top, right? That's after Time Magazine changed their branding, because that's 2026, so that's 10 years into the future. But it all actually started a long, long time ago, on an event such as this one, almost a year ago, at the very north of Poland, when we sat down with a friend of mine, Tom Wawrzyniak, who's actually a managing director at Logisfera Nowa, a company we're both a part of. And we were both sitting down and reflecting back on our lives, really, trying to catch that perspective and look at ourselves from 20 years into the future, and look back and try to figure out, okay, is what we're creating, is what we're doing actually something that we'll be really proud of? And we thought, looking into our inner selves is going to be really difficult, and it was. But it was about, like when you were a kid, trying to figure out who you want to be when you grow up. And it's amazing that you can ask that same question. You can ask yourself that question regardless of how old you are. So we did. And looking at that perspective, 20 years into the future, and looking back at yourself, and thinking about, okay, how many wireframes can I, design? How many interfaces? How many UX projects can I actually do? And what sort of impact am I actually having on the real people at the very end of the story that I'm starting? And we found that it's not enough. It's not a big enough impact, because some of the things that we've created in the past, they're already forgotten, We were thinking about Google material design and flat UI and all of that. And all of those elements that we've created, they're already forgotten, Nobody remembers about them anymore, because they don't have a tangible impact on something or someone. So we've thought about the good. How to create the good in our work. And that became, that became a measure of how we approached the shift that had to happen within our minds and within the company itself. So we had to think about, okay, we're not measuring the projects anymore about how much money they bring into the company, but we had to generate a new stream of operations within the company for the good itself. So the main measure of those projects will be the creation of good. And that was a difficult task to achieve, because how do you do that? How do you measure that? And how do you define what good actually is? And that's when we started thinking about the health sector, you know, because we thought that, well, these guys are on the ground, you know, they're treating ourselves as patients, and they are actually, you know, the good bringers and miracle workers at the very bottom of the, you know, of the process. So we were thinking, okay, but how do we get into a hospital? How do we get to meet with a managing director of a hospital and convince him to do a service design project with us? So that's when we started thinking about the orchestra, the foundation. We knew that, you know, they've been working on creating good things and, you know, delivering the good to the hospitals over the last 20, 25 years, like Olga said. So we thought that, okay, the equipment is one part, the employees of the hospital is the other part of the story. But the thing was, giving the equipment to the hospital is one thing, but because the services in the hospitals are lacking that element of design, and they're kind of, you know, history-based, behavioral elements that have been there for 10 or decades. They've been there for decades. So we thought that, okay, so let's think about how to get to the hospital and use the context that we might have at the foundation. So we wanted to meet with the main person there, which is Jurek Owsiak. And it's not easy to get a meeting with Jurek. He's a really busy guy. So by coincidence, although I don't believe in coincidences, a cousin of mine lives at the same block of flats where Jurek is actually living. And what we've done is I phoned her up and I said, Marilla, there's a task for you. You live in the same building, so you use the same underground car park, so you probably see Jurek from time to time. And she said, yeah, you see him from time to time. So I gave her a 60-second elevator pitch. What's it all about, service design, you know, what the impact is and what we really want and stuff like that. And that's where the stalking started. You know, she was down there in the underground car parks, you know, trying to, you know, and before she went to the elevator, she would spend 60 seconds just by her car, just to hope for a chance that Jurek is going to be passing by and she'll be able to deliver the message. And it took 3 months. And after 3 months, I received a Facebook message from her saying that, okay, you need to write an email to the orchestra and put this tag at the very top of the email saying that you've spoken to Marilla Czarnecka, who lives in this and this flat, in this and this building, at this and this address, and, you know, and then just copy and paste the rest of your story and then send it over. And it worked. So on that basis, I don't know how the foundation deals with, you know, sorting through their mail, but they must have some sort of a secret code there hidden. I don't know if it's the street name of Jurek's address or something, but yeah, it works. So on that basis, we got in, and we had a meeting with him. You know, he's a huge bomb of emotion and an extremely charismatic person. So we sat down and we said that everything we need from you right now is to give us one name of a hospital director that has an open enough head so that we can do a service design project together. Because it's not an easy task to go through a service design project, because we're going to be showing a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that don't work in the hospital, and on that basis, we want you to pick out one hospital in Poland that will be doing a service design project for the next 6 to 9 months for free, absolutely for free. No costs associated with the actual design work, because, as I mentioned earlier, the good factor is that high that it's not a focus to actually commercialize this event. It's about creating good things at the end of the day. So Jurek obviously said, okay, that's great, and we received information from his wife about a hospital in Olsztyn. These are our first workshops with the business people, and let me tell you, we've done At this moment in time, we're 3 months into the project, so we're doing a lot of workshops with the employees, with the people around the actual service, and we're doing a lot of research at the same time as well. And the research phase on a project like this is again something that we weren't expecting at all. Because what a hospital like that, what a place like that does to you as a person, and you learn a lot as a researcher. You go to that place, you talk to the patients, you go through the wards, you go and talk to the employees, you look at those corridors filled with people. There's a lot of noise, there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of emotion, and there's quite a few things that we didn't expect. Because you learn a lot about those patients, but at the same time, you learn a lot about yourself as a human being. There's so many emotions that go through your head when you're asking, a patient that's 3 years old, a girl, she's just been through chemo, and you're asking her about, if her bed is comfortable, or if her room is big enough, or, does she have a problem of getting from A to B, to get to the buffet. But you're not fixing her health in any way. So during our research phase, we had to deal with a lot of emotions, and after every iteration of research, after 2 days of going through their lives and their stories, because you eventually find out everything about their sickness and all of those elements. It takes a couple of days, but once we're back from Olsztyn to Sopot, to where our company is based, it takes about 3 to 4 days to reassemble yourself again, to get those emotions in order, and that's why I say that it's kind of designing through tears, because we are close to tears every time we go there. So coming back, reassembling ourselves and thinking about, okay, let's do some project work after we've dealt with those emotions. That's a big challenge, and that's definitely something that we haven't been expecting when we started the project itself. And it all wouldn't be possible with the people like Ania here, who's our main fixer at the hospital. And she deals with, all the employees, all the wards. She shows us around the hospital, and that's the person that allows this project to actually happen, because she's the main person of contact. She's one person of contact, and she was about to leave the hospital a couple of weeks before the project started. But because it did start, it's one of the reasons that she actually stayed at the hospital. So that's a big thing for us, and Ania is a huge help. A project like that obviously wouldn't be possible without the foundation, the charity, the orchestra, because they were the ones that actually showed us that this hospital and these people are capable of actually understanding what we're trying to achieve here. And obviously, I don't know where they are because I can't see a bloody thing with those lights on, but it wouldn't be possible with the wonderful, dedicated team at our office. I don't know where you guys are. Okay, there they are. With huge hearts, spending a lot of time at Olsztyn, traveling there, eating a lot of fast food and making sure that, the buffet is working in the right order at the hospital. And all of these elements, they make those things happen, and it allows us to be a part of something bigger, because there's an impact to be had here. And because there is all of those elements of the process attached together, that way we can actually achieve a little bit more. So the next thing that I would like to show you is 2 stories, I think there are. And it's going to be 2 letters that are being sent to one of the wards. It's called the toddler pathology ward. So it's the youngest kids that deal with heart disease and elements like that. And there's this huge wall a huge wall on one of the walls. No, it's like a sticker pad on one of the walls. And there's like glued on letters and photographs that tell stories of every kid that actually went through the process of getting better at the hospital itself. And I would like to visualize that for you, and understand what the designers have to face, what kind of emotions they need to face to do the design work, to go through the process, to deliver what we're actually trying to get at here. So I'll try and do that.
Kochana pani Iwonko, moja mama opowiedziała mi, że urodziłam się w 28 tygodniu ciąży. Ważyłam 980 gram i nie potrafiłem sam oddychać. Z powodu swoich przypadłości, kiedy przebywałem na oddziale niemowlęcym Wojewódzkiego Specjalistycznego Szpitala Dziecięcego w Olsztynie, pani Iwonko, uczyła mnie jeść mleko z butelki. Dzięki temu szybko przybierałem na wadze i mogłem zdrowieć ku uciesze wszystkich osób, które o mnie dbały, lekarzom, pielęgniarkom i moim rodzicom. Dziękuję, że wspierała Pani moją mamę w trudnych chwilach. Pani ciepły uśmiech na zawsze pozostanie w mojej pamięci. Adaś Kowalski. 30 czerwca 2002 roku o godzinie 21:50 byłam najbardziej nieszczęśliwą osobą na świecie, ponieważ los rozłączył mnie z moim synkiem o imieniu Marcel. Chłopca urodziłam we wczesnej ciąży w 24 tygodniu o masie 440 gram. Była to tragedia do momentu pierwszego naszego spotkania. W jednej chwili moje serce prawie nie pękło z bólu, a w drugiej poczułam ogromną miłość do malutkiej iskierki i wolę walki z okrutnym losem. Marcel w tej chwili ma 3,5 miesiąca, waży 2300 gram i ma się bardzo dobrze. Dlatego apeluję do wszystkich mam, żeby nie traciły wiary i sensu życia, tylko z uniesioną głową walczyły z rzeczywistością i dodawały otuchy swoim pociechom w ciężkich chwilach ich życia. Naprawdę warto wierzyć w to, że będzie dobrze. Proszę mi zaufać. Przeżyłam to i wiem, że trzeba dużo wiary i cierpliwości.
So coming back from a hospital, and going through all of those emotions and trying to do the project work after, all of those elements that hit your head, it's really difficult, to come up with a way of distance yourself from that. It's like you're having this workshop with surgeons, for example. There's like, the main manager, he's doing the most difficult operations. So you were talking to him about navigation systems, internal wayfinding in the hospital, and he's just done 2 heart surgeries on a toddler that was 3 months old. It's difficult. So there's a lot of more challenges for the designer to actually detach himself from that side of the fence, if you like. And there's only so much you can do because there's only so many places that you're being let into, because you can go up to the entrance with your process, with the customer journeys. You can go up to the entrance to the operation rooms, but you're not allowed to enter any further. So you don't even know what's actually happening as far as the emotions and processes of that particular patient after they went through those doors. So there's a big challenge for a designer to understand why, and is it having any effect on the actual emotions, the journey from your bed in the hospital to the operation room. Maybe there's a lot more happening after you've crossed those doors. But that's where the miracles happen, which is another challenge, because your work is being diminished. Every thought that you have is like, wayfinding versus heart surgery, it's a huge task to tackle mentally. So there's a lot of things that we didn't consider. There's a lot of challenges that we didn't think about when we were actually starting the project. We thought that it was going to be, okay, 8 steps of the way, business perspective, the perspective of the patients, defining the problem, ideating solutions, prototyping, testing, implementation, service blueprints, and stuff like that. When going into this project was like so easy, but doing it after 3 months and being there, it's a little bit different story. So, nonetheless, being a part of something like that is a part of a story of change like that is a huge, huge thing. And it's an extremely overwhelming feeling. So I'm really happy that we're doing it, and I'm really happy that we're doing it for free at the same time, actually. But I would like to finish off, put a word out there, using the words of one of the biggest philosophers of our time, but I'll let him speak for himself after this slide here. Well, sorry.
There were some lines that expressed your philosophy. I don't know if you remember them or not.
Oh, I remember that.
Let's hear.
This is what it is, okay? I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now, you put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now, water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
So be water, my friends, be water. So thanks very much. Thank you.
I wanted to ask about the effects of the project that you conducted in the hospital. What was the results? What methods did you use? Could you
I
tell
knew
a
it.
little
I
bit
knew it.
more
I'm
about-
not going to get out of that one. I knew it. Yeah, sure. We're 3 months in, so for us it's kind of, because we were overwhelmed with the amount and how big that factory is, because it's huge, 700 employees, 200 nurses, 100 doctors, and countless outsourcing agents, for cleaning the toilets, and all of that. It's really, I was actually, after the first workshop, I was amazed that health system actually works. And I was like, yeah, it's great, you're doing a great job because it actually works, and I'm amazed. So after 3 months, we've done the business hypothesis workshop, so we sat down with all the managers, with the top board, with people responsible for each ward, like the pathology of the toddlers, surgery, and stuff like that. So we sat down with them and we built their hypothesis of how they feel, where the problem areas are, what the process is, and we've used separate tools to do that, We had to design tools to actually map out the architecture of the hospital and put the process in place physically. Yeah? So we had to understand what kind of touch points are at which point of the process, but not only as a process itself, we had to put that in place. That is the first floor of the hospital, reception, and then it moves on, 25 meters to this spot at the second floor of the hospital. So we had to use different set of tools to actually do that. So that was that. I'm sure that most of you know stakeholders maps and stuff like that. So we had to redesign the stakeholder maps even. So we had to add another axis for the involvement and the influence and elements like that. And I'm more than willing to share that with probably you,
through us.
and
Yeah,
then just send it through. So we had to design a lot of new canvases, workshops to actually get the most out of those people because they're busy. They come in for a workshop for 2 hours, and that's their break in between the next surgery. So there's a lot of design that goes into the workshop itself before you actually undertake the workshop. So that was one thing. And then research, if you could see those busy corridors, that was a big challenge as well, because there's a lot of noise, there's a lot of people, a lot of heat, and a lot of elements that you have to consider as a designer or a researcher at that phase.
Like kids.
And yeah, those figures about the patients, the 300,000 and 30,000, that's the patients. But every one of those patients, because it's a children's hospital, comes with a parent. So it doubles up pretty fast, and it's overwhelming for the hospital staff and the actual architecture way, that it works. So we've used, for example, diaries. So we would walk around the corridor and just, hand them out. So whatever, they sit down and write down a couple of pages of what they're feeling at the moment, there was, I think, one comment of a lady that she's trying to strike a conversation with a man right next to him, but they're like, there's no chemistry. So we use that, So we use everything we get, out of those conversations. So they just sit down, write 3 pages, we take the diary away, and we just give it to another person, obviously rip out the pages so we don't manipulate the result, and we just give it to another person. And they just write it down because there's no way and there's no room for a viable conversation to sit down and just say, take some other mother's place, sit down, and try to get the insights. We obviously do that too, and there is that way of actually, sitting down with someone and get the information directly from them, like an in-depth interview, and try to get as much information as possible. So guerrilla research and IDIs, definitely that's something that we do, and diaries worked out beautifully there as well. So we've got,
People
stacks
had
of
a lot of time to
yeah, absolutely,
to write.
absolutely. So they're sitting there writing about, okay, how many hours I'm actually spending here waiting for the doctor's appointment, So, and it's absolutely unbelievable to understand the other side of the picture, why the doctors do what they do and how they do it, I didn't know that there's a problem for them to go out from their office and shout the name and the surname of the patient because of Giodo, the security of our names and surnames, and all that, all of our credentials. So they have a problem with that. The staff at the hospital, they're like, well, I shouldn't really, say those two words, you know, the name and the surname, because that identifies the person, so he might sue me or something like that. So that was amazing to me, you know, the things we find in the process itself that we just didn't know about.
Thank you. We got one more question there, and one more then.
I have a question. Did you find some ways, or what kind of measures did you use to observe the improvement, or to measure some goals you assumed? That's very interesting for me.
For the hospital itself, yeah?
Yeah, for the hospital and the care from the point of view of the patient.
As I said, we're 3 months in, so we've done the business perspective workshops, and we've identified the hypothesis of the business people, which we're now verifying in the research phase. So, you know, the next and the following steps will be, you know, defining the list of problems to solve, then ideating upon those problems, then prototyping solutions, then testing them out in the real hospital environment, and that's when we're going to get to the service blueprint stages, when we're going to be attaching key performance indicators to each step of the way. Okay, we want this goal to be achieved at this specific, with this specific service, and these are the KPIs that we want to achieve. So we're not there yet. I think that we'll be there in the next 3 months or so, but that's definitely a plan to actually get there, yeah.
Okay, so the second question is, what's your approach? Is your approach to find some small part of the hospital to take care about, for example, some specific disease or sections, or you try to attach it holistic way from the start?
As you could see, there's the main two types of patients. There's the hospitalized patients, which are actually staying long-term in the hospital. So they've got different sorts of problems, you know, like additional bed for their parent and stuff like that. You know, how do you get hot food into the room where they're staying? And those rooms are like 2 by 2, and there's 2 people staying and 2 parents staying, and there's only 1 toilet. And, you know, the toilet is right next to the shower. So there are boundaries when it comes to the architecture of some of the wards there. Some of them are nice, spanking new. Some of them are from the 60s. So what we're looking at, because there's 2 types of patients, we're first looking at the more process patients, so the ambulatory patients. So they come in and out, in and out, in and out. They sometimes turn into the hospitalized patient, because you go for a meeting with a guy from, you know, with a specialized doctor that looks into your ears or eyes, and he says, you know what, you need to have a surgery or something. You have to move over to the ward, and that's where you start to be a hospitalized person. But before that happens, most of the patients go in and out, in and out, in and out. So it's a customer journey that we're analyzing first, because it's more of a processed, and I think an easier process actually to tackle, to start with, but it's a lot more patients at the same time. So the volume is a lot bigger. So that's the first part that we're tackling at the moment. But we're looking holistically at everything. So it might be a solution that, you know, that we come up with, that we have to redo the entire indoor navigation, for example, yeah? So that they can get from the urgency of getting into the hospital, you know, to register themselves, and then go to the, you know, to the doctor's office in an easy and a relaxed way, so that they don't have to ask the staff every 30 feet. Because I don't know if you know, but the average is about 20 or 30 feet. So every 30 feet, a patient asks the personnel or the staff, where should he go? So that's like every 10 meters, you know, an average. You ask somebody, disrupt their time, you know, and try to find a way to where you should be. So it's a huge impact on the cost and, you know, time saving and elements like that. So we don't know. You know, there's going to be a list of solutions, and we're going to be picking out a few of them. Obviously, the ones that the hospital will be able to afford, and, you know, that we'll be able to implement, you know. But before we get there, it's still a long way to go.
Thank you. Unfortunately, we haven't got much time now, so should you have any other questions to Olga and Andrzej,
Yeah,
just
we'll be
grab
open.
them now, because we will all move to the photo station now, just behind the building. Wojtek took care of people that will guide you to the right place, but thank you very much once again.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, man. Thank you. Do you want me to leave that?